I'm back. I'm Erin, the Two Martini Stitcher, here on FlossTube and on Instagram, and it has been a long time since I have filmed. I think it was maybe February, March at best, so it's been like 10 months. However, I have been stitching a lot this year, just not filming anything. And I have been prepping all year for my very big plans that I have for 2025. So I thought it would be fun now that it's, whip parade and planning video season to check back in and let you know that I have been stitching and I have been meeting the goals that I set for myself for this year in preparation for next year, and to just have a little chat about what's going to happen next year and show you all of the things. So, if you have been around before, welcome back. Thank you. Thank you for clicking on me again after I left you hanging high and dry all year. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm very, very excited, and my plan is to be super consistent next year with all of the fun things I have planned. So, I have a big birthday coming up next year. March of 2025, I turn 50. And I started thinking about this birthday. I'm not fussed about turning 50. I'm excited to turn 50. It's we just sent our youngest off to college this fall. So we're empty nesters now, and I just feel like this is just going to be a whole new season of life. So I'm excited to turn 50. And so I've been thinking about it for about a year and a half ago. I started thinking, what did I want to do to celebrate 50? And I am someone who carries a lot of cross stitch whips, and which is a work in progress. I assume if you clicked on this FlossTube video, you're probably part of the cross stitch community. So I may not cover all the terms, but I am someone who has always carried for years a very high whip count. And I thought, just for fun, not because having a high whip count fusses me at all, but I thought just for fun, let's see if I can get below 50 whips before my 50th birthday, which, spoiler alert, I did. I think I'm sitting at like 46 right now. I am planning to do, after the first of the year, a full finish parade, and I'll have solid numbers then. But just know that I am well below 50. And in preparation is as kind of a means to get to that goal of below 50. I'd set myself a goal for 24 to do 24 finishes in 2024. Lots of people were doing 24 and 24 type things. Some people were doing starts. Some people were doing finishes, all iterations. I decided on finishes, 24 finishes in 2024, and specifically 24 finishes of whips that I had carried into the year. Now, I think I'm only at like 22 finishes. I may get to 24 by the end of the year. I may not. However, I've had more than 24 finishes. I started 5 or 6 things this year. I've finished 3 or 4 of them. More solid numbers to come. We're not focusing on that in this video. What we're going to focus on is all of the starts, because I thought if I could get below 50 whips before I turn 50 or the start of 2025, then I would start 100 things in 2025 to celebrate my birthday. Now, why 100? Because that's not 50. Like, normal logic would say you're turning 50, start 50 things, right? However, in looking back over my cross stitch history, in 2020, I accidentally started 67 things. I didn't realize it till the end of the year. It just happened. It didn't feel like a lot of starts. I am in good company with this. One of my current favorite floss tubers, Jen's Fiberweb, decided to start 100 things this year when she realized she had already started 90. See, it happens. It happens. We can't explain it. It just, sometimes you accidentally start 67 or 100 things in a year. So 50 did not feel like a big reach to me. some lovely friends had suggested 500 starts. It seemed like a little too much. It was also suggested about the time that the 324 Sal started, which is my birthday. My birthday is 324. So I did that piece this year. That since my birthday is 324, maybe I should start 324 things, which admittedly also still felt like too many because that's almost one a day. Now, 100 is just a multiple of 50. Seemed like a good number, right? 50 for my first 50 years, another 50 for my second 50 years. I don't actually want to live to be 100. That's a whole nother conversation. But yes, it is an arbitrary multiple of 50 that I'm going to start 100 things next year. However, that's about 2 a week. And that felt like a fun thing to do to celebrate my birthday that would also not be completely overwhelming and burdensome. So that is a long preamble. I've been talking for 6 minutes. The purpose of this video is to show you the 100 things that I plan to start next year to celebrate my birthday. I've spent a good portion of my year this year kitting everything up because kitting up I enjoy it, but it's time consuming. And I knew that I would not have time to kit up and start 100 things next year. So I have been slowly throughout the year kitting everything up. Now, when doing my list of 100 things to start, I started with the things I already had kitted. Like that was the first place I went, was what did I have kitted already? And either I wanted to start it or I de-kitted it for the most part. I have a few things still kitted up, very few. Then I went through all of the patterns I currently own and kitted them up mainly from stash. So I will tell you they were things that I purchased this year, but very, very few of these things were things that were not already in stash, including most of the fabric and threads. And I still have plenty. I should never buy another piece of fabric again. Okay, so I have my spreadsheet. Of course there's a spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet. The other reason I thought that this would be really fun and that people might want to see it is because if you have some of these things in your stash and you want to start along with me, that would be really, really fun. Now, I'm going to go through these in roughly the chronological order that I plan to start them. So I am planning on doing approximately 2 starts a week, starting the first week of January. You will see they kind of follow. I'm a seasonal stitcher, so they kind of follow seasons. But I am also holding this list very loosely. Holding it loosely because I may find other things I want to start. Things I might not feel like starting that day. They might get bumped and shifted around. But definitely let me know. Let me know if there are things that you have kitted or you have in your stash that I'm starting and you want to start with me, and we can coordinate. Or if there's a day that you specifically want to start it, or I can ping you right before I start. I think that this would be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for the new year and for my birthday and celebrating all year with a whole bunch of cross stitch starts. Okay, so should we get started? We should get started. The first thing that I'm going to start, it's going to be my new year, new start, is Modern Folk Embroideries Reaching Skyward. So I'll put a picture of what it looks like here. This pattern was the 2023 Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along, which I didn't do that year. Obviously, I'm starting it now. I liked it, but it felt overwhelming and big to me at the time. I just finished, and before this goes up, I'll probably post it on Instagram, this year's No Time Like the Present Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along that I started on the 1st of January, and I finished it this year. I know, who am I? Mind boggles. Anyway, since I finished that, I thought I can start another big Modern Folk Embroidery. So you'll have seen the pattern, what it looks like here. I'm not planning on finishing this one in a year. I'm just starting it. But I'm going to start it on this 36 count linen in Coffee Stain by Cedar River Linen, and this is going to be my colorway, this green and gold. So that's going to be my first start. I loved every stitch of this past year's stitch along, and it was really, really fun, and I am excited to start another one. Okay, my next one is going to be Coffee Quaker by Heartstring Samplery. Had that in stash, and I'm going to be stitching this on a 36 count linen by Bee Stitch Me and coconut shell. I used the other half of this for something else coffee themed that I finished this year, but I can't think of what. And it was a perfect coffee. And these are my colors, which I think are mostly called for-ish. I probably made a sub or two. So there's my flosses for Coffee Quaker. You're going to see a theme as we go through. It's a lot of 36 count linen because that's my favorite. I like 36 count with one strand, and you're going to see a lot of Bee Stitch Me and Color and Cotton fabrics because I am in both those, or have been in the past in both of those fabric clubs. So I have a lot of that fabric. Okay. Next up is Count Twice, Stitch Once by the Primitive Hair. I love this guy. I've had this in my stash a while. I'm going to be doing this on this 32 count Atomic Ranch in Into the Woods. I mean, if that doesn't say like snail to you, I just don't know. And I think that this is called for-ish. There's a like over dyed threadwork sparkly, I think, that I had this in stash, this petite treasure braid that I think is going to work for the crown and needle. So there we go. Count Twice, Stitch Once. Love him so much. I live in the Pacific Northwest. We have lots of snails and slugs, and I think they're adorable. Not so much when my dog rolls in them and brings them into the house, but there we go. Okay. Oh, that one is not next. This one is. This, I'm going to have to go back to this bag. This bag from Garon Tote Bags is holding several projects. The first of which is the Fox by Cottage Garden Samplings. I was on auto ship for these, never started any of them the year that they released, and I decided I was going to do 4. In the end, I decided all 12 was too much. I was going to pick one from each season. The Fox was, I think, the very first release and the one that like I signed me up for all of them. So we don't have foxes around here. We do have a lot of bobcats, but I love the Fox. I'm going to stitch him on this Fieldstone by Color and Cotton, and then I'm pretty sure those are all the called for. Most of these are DMC with 2 overdyes. So there we go. I gotta put this bag aside because it's got the rest of the ones that I'm starting that you'll see later, because I'm kind of starting them in their season, if that makes sense. Another theme for this year is turkeys. If you've been around for a little while, you know I love turkeys. I love turkeys. I have so many turkey patterns. So I decided while going through all of my patterns and kits that I was going to start minimum 1 turkey pattern a month. 1 a month. So at least 12 turkeys this year. The first one is Gobble Wobble. This is a kit by Beck Creek, which I'm really excited to try because it's this like pearl cotton. Isn't he cute? And see, some of these should be, I tried real hard. I love a big chart. I love starting a big project. I tried real hard to mix it up this year, and well, not mix it up this year. I try to do a good job of starting smaller things, but I very intentionally with these 100 starts tried not to pick 100 big projects because that was tempting. So some of these like this, I think is maybe even like I consider like a mini, and hopefully I can just finish in a couple days. So even though I'm starting 100 things, I am hoping to have some finishes next year. I'm going to continue to do 25/7 stitching, which has been a great way for me to work on one project, just 25 minutes or a thread a day type stitching each day to finish some of those bigger projects. So I do plan to have some finishes in and amongst all of the starts. Okay. This one, also not a huge one. Say you have. I call it fudge it. This is my motto. Just fudge it and carry on. Unless something cannot be fudged, I fudged it. I thought this would be really fun on this opalescent white fabric. Oh, that I clearly have other projects on. Look, I have a little finished Christmas ornament on there. I should maybe... I clearly measured this. I guess the project's going here. I'm going to do it with this cottage garden thread that was made for the Quirky Quaker frog and some silver petite treasure braid that I had. So I love it. Just fudge it and carry on. Personalization. I'm all about the personalization. All right. Next up, I'm so excited about all these projects, y'all. Okay. Beverly Glen Sampler by Dee's 20 Stitches. I'm pretty sure I purchased this. This was maybe like originally was maybe something that you could purchase at Stitch North or pre-order. I don't know. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'm going to be stitching this on some 36 count arboreal by Cedar River Linen. Another one of my absolute favorite linen dyers. I think I have at least 3 projects on this colorway this year, but for real. And then I had bought the Roxy flosses at Stitch North. I think not this past year, but the year before maybe. How gorgeous is that going to be? This is such a great sampler. I mean, look, there's a cow with corn coming out of it. It's fantastic. Fantastic. All right. And then this was definitely a kit that I do love purchasing a kit, especially if there's like finishing items in it. I'm a sucker for a kit. Yeah, see, this had the trim and everything. This is Everyday Things by Heart and Hand. And it came with the fabric and I think the trim, and it looks like I pulled the DMC. So there's, because I wrote, maybe this came with it. I don't know. Maybe it came with the DMC. That looks like my scraggly threads though. So Everyday Things. Sweet, sweet, sweet. You'll see more kits with finishing things. So excited about all these projects. All right. Next is Who Let the Frogs Out by Heartstring Samplery. I have completed and already framed, I think, Whip It Good. And so I did that one on 18 count Ada. So I picked another 18 count Ada. See, once again, Boreal by Cedar River Linen. How perfect is this? I mean, it's more toad colored, but perfect. And I'm going to do it with sulky white, just like I did Whip It Good. So Who Let the Frogs Out? Is that next? Oh, I put looks like I put 2 things of sulky white in there. I think Whip It Good took more than 1. So maybe I learned. And I don't have dates on my spreadsheet because I won't enter them till I start. So I couldn't tell you what week now we're on, but I'm going to assume it's in February because next one up is Turkey Love by Plum Street Samplers. Look at those turkeys with their long legs. They'll love each other. I'm doing this on 36 count Spindrift. Look, I have this huge piece of fabric in here for this tiny chart. This is a fantastic color. It looks cream. It is not cream. It's a very gray day here in Seattle, so I've got the ring light and everything's going to blow out a little bit. I don't know that you can see how gorgeous this Spindrift is. It just has like a touch of like taupey green. It could be my favorite neutral. Cedar River Linen. Go buy her stuff. And then there's the DMC threads. So with the 324 sal this year, I did finally get all my DMC threads in order, and I have a complete master set. that are hanging up. I don't know why I gave a dedicated set to this, probably because it was early in the year and I hadn't started 324 yet. But that was a fantastic way to get everything organized. Where am I? I lost my place. There we go. I just finished my first Mirabilia, Touching the Autumn Sky. And I always had said to myself, I would only have one Mirabilia on the go at a time. Lies going into next year. The first one I'm starting is Royal Games 1. I have both these charts. I love these. We're big card and board gamers in our house, and I just think that these would be really fun to have hanging on the wall. I've had these kitted up for ages. I'm doing it on like white linen, and here's all of the called for threads. I have the bead pack in here. I feel like this one's going to be a little more intense than Touching the Autumn Sky, so I feel like I might be in for my first real Mirabilia. Like there's packs and packs of beads and Krynex in here. Touching the Autumn Sky felt like a nice little intro because there was not a lot of beads going on. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, my next start is going to be something from the Hearts for Pam box. Is that what it was? Do y'all remember Cottage Garden Threads did a kind of fundraiser that was like special colorways and a whole bunch of heart designs? I bought the whole thing. Of course I did. I bought the whole thing. So I have all of the threads here, not organized in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I'm mostly organized and put together, but some things like this. Anyway, I have all of those and all of the charts in here. So I went through and decided I was going to start at least one of them. And then my plan is when I finish this one, then I'll start another one because there's lots of great charts in here. However, the one I'm starting first is Hearts Entwined by Ink Circles. Fun fact, Ink Circles is the most represented designer in my 100 starts. Close second, Heartstring Samplery, but you're going to see lots of Ink Circles. My love for Tracy Horner runs deep. Anyhow, so I'm going to start Hearts Entwined on this. This had to have come from a grab bag from Color and Cotton, but I think it's like perfect. It's kind of pinky peachy with some green. So that with the Cottage Garden Threads, Hearts for Pam. If I don't put this all back, it's already going to be a huge mess. All right. I missed one that fell down. Okay. This one I also know I bought as a kit with, see, finishing trim. If there's trim or finishing fabrics involved, I'm in. I think you can buy this just as a chart now, but this is Chubby Bird. She's got other little animals. I think I have them all. There's a chubby bunny, there's a chubby fox, but I'm going to start with Chubby Bird since it was my first. It definitely came with the threads, but I think not fabric. And to put it in this little tin, like this little tart finish, which I think is adorable. I think you have to do it on 40 count, and I had a singular piece of 40 count light mocha in my stash, so that's what it's going on. I can stitch on 40 count, it's just not as super fun for me, so, and I need good light, and I live in Seattle, so we don't get really good light a lot of the year. So I mostly don't stitch on 40 count, but I can. So I clearly had a piece. All right. Next is Every Opening Flower by With Thy Needle and Thread. What can I say? Big roses, big house, Quaker motifs. Check, 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 check. I'm going to put this on this piece of Liberty Gathering gray, which I think is an R&R. Where did I get this? Oh, Stitcher's Paradise. I must have picked this up when I was at Stitcher's Paradise a couple years ago. So I'm going to put it on that. I'm pretty sure these are all called for or called for-ish. I made a couple subs. See, these are all my notes to myself. Because I was pulling from stash. I tried to buy very, very few threads. Yeah, see there's like a Fiberlicious. So if I didn't have it, if I had it, I pulled it. If I didn't, I pulled something that was close that I had in stash. I think that's going to be lovely. That's a bigger chart. 200 by 216. Yeah. That's about. I mean, but you got to start some big ones. It's a big birthday. It's fine. What's the companion? What's this the companion to? I haven't started. See, I can't even remember. All right. Oh, this was a kit that I had purchased. 2 Birds in the Hand by Ink Circles. And I think that she had these on her Patreon maybe when this first came out. So it came with like the little backing fabric to do the little pillow finish. See? And then fabric and thread. So I'm just doing this pillow finish because that's what the kit was for. There's a whole, you can purchase this chart. There's a whole little like alphabet sampler version that you can do, but I am doing the little pillow finish because that's how I bought the kit. I don't need that bag. Okay. I clearly was on a bird theme. I think this is still February because I picked like red things and heart things and bird things. So red bird sampler. I've had this kitted up for just absolute ages. This is a 28 count casual natural linen. See, I probably bought the linen for this at Acorns and Threads no less than 4 years ago. I'm going to stitch it in ribbon red, which is like one of my all-time favorite red colors. Full House Red, also really good. Okay. Oh, this was something I've had kitted up for a long time. See, so long, it even has like a little luggage tag. I think I might have originally kitted this for 2020, like May, when I started a whole bunch of things that May. This is, I don't know why this is all out. Quaker sewing tray. I think I even have the tray. I'm going to stitch this on 32 count in the pink by R&R. This is a great, I used a piece of this for, I think, Personal is Political. Bendy Stitchy. So there we go. So this pink, some called for-ish threads. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Pretty in pink. So I think we're probably still in February. That's a February feel, doesn't it? Haha, yes. Now we're into my birthday month, March, because I saved my favorite turkey for my birthday month, Sir Thomas. Sarah Memphis E has finished him. I think Pam Stitching Atlanta Good Enough finished him. A lot of people started him a few years ago. I've wanted to stitch him for ages, and so it's happening. It's happening. I bought the called for fabric. This I did buy. I bought the called for fabric because Sarah Memphis E told me that she loved it, and I figured with all that she loved stitching on it. She had purchased the called for fabric, and that all of the it calls for a lot of like rainbow gallery, like silk lame braid and specialty fibers. And so I thought, buy the called for. Everyone, I mean, there's so many beads. These colors are so gorgeous. And then all of the DMC. So, but he's going to be fantastic. Now, originally my plan, like when I bought this chart years ago, my plan was to just stitch him and do him as a great big huge stand-up. However, I tend to be a top left starter. I may start and stitch this first corn and see how I feel. Only because so many people have said that this corn is super fun to stitch. and that it looks fantastic. I kind of thought, who needs all that? Like, you have this big, beautiful turkey. We'll see. We'll see. If you've stitched him, let me know your thoughts. I may stitch one corn, and then if I decide not to do the other 3, then he'll be a stand-up. But I might do at least one. Okay. Where am I? Here I am. Trying to follow along on my spreadsheet. All right. And you know what? I will link my spreadsheet below in the comment box if you want to go and look at all of my plan starts. Just know I'm holding this loosely. We're not, these are not real solid. I mean, they're pretty solid. I've kitted 100 things, but just know that there might be a little flexing going on. Lucy Beam, Immortal, buying cross stitch like I'm immortal. Kind of the theme when I kitted up 100 projects almost entirely out of stash. I think this is Fox and Rabbit Flannel Flower. Yes. 36 count. Fox and Rabbit Flannel Flower. This is beautiful. This is beautiful fabric, and I picked some stash colors that are in the, in the same vein and feel as the chart. I very rarely do like a full-on like personal color conversion, but a lot of times if I'm just pulling from stash, I'll just go with my heart. Go with my heart. Okay. What is next? Ooh, next up is the next animal from Year in the Woods, and that is, where is he? The raccoon. Because of course we have raccoons. I live a little outside of a suburban center, and so we have animals. We have lots of animals. We have about an acre, and we get lots of furry animals. So I tried to pick ones that visit us, and I just love this guy. Look at the pink flowers, and look at his cute little hands. I'm using this limited edition color and cotton that I purchased at one point, and then there's the threads. So that is, oh, and it looks like I did convert the overdyes to ones that I had in hand. So that's the raccoon. I'm so excited to start those. Everything's trying to tip over. It's getting unwieldy in there. Okay. Next up is Spring Chalk Talk. One of the things I did with these 100 starts is I love a series. I love a seasonal series. And I have some that I am like part way through. And this is one of those. So you can see I finished autumn. I started winter. And so I'm using my 100 starts to start the rest of the series. So in spring, I'm going to start spring. This is Dirty Chalkboard Ada, probably 16 count by Bestitch Me that I had purchased, like I had ordered for this series. So I ordered, I think this is probably a half yard, so that I would have enough to do this series. And maybe even, I love these little rounds too. Maybe someday I'll come back and stitch the little rounds. So that's spring. And, spoiler alert, you're going to see summer here in a little bit. Actually, why don't I just show you summer, and then I don't have to get this out again. Okay, here's summer. I'll be starting it sometime in the summer. And it's DMC, so I have all the DMC and a little like, this is my old, when I moved to a master set, I floss dropped all of my DMC. So you can see this is like one that I pulled, or that I floss dropped. But I used to bobbinate. So you can tell which ones I've been out for a while. Oh, and I also have like so much 3865 in there because they take quite a bit of 3865. Okay. Still in March and around my birthday, because My name's Erin. I am Irish, curly hair, green eyes, freckles. So I love to start Irish shamrocky things around my birthday. So this is an Irish Blessing by Tiny Modernist that I purchased at Stitch North, maybe a couple years ago. I think my friend Stephanie's going to start this with me. Pretty. I'm putting it on white. I did purchase this linen for it, 28 count white. And it's DMC, but look how pretty. Look at the greens and blues. This is really pretty. Really pretty. To be honest, a backstitch lettering, maybe not my favorite thing in the whole world, but I do love this chart. So, and the saying, and that'll be fun. Okay. I think I'm out of order. Wait, Irish Blessing. Oh, no, here we are. We're right. Okay. Do not laugh. Do not laugh. One of the seasonal series that I am starting next year is Leela Studios Quakers. I love them so much. I know that they are all huge. I know that it will be like a decade before I have these finished, but I have to. I have to. They're too beautiful. They're too beautiful. So starting with spring, I am starting all of Leela Studios Quakers, which, side note, you're actually only going to see 99 projects today because she has not yet released Winter Quaker. My fingers are crossed that it's coming at Nashville. So it's a planned start for next December. She's got a year. No pressure. But I'm going to need Winter Quaker next year. So, but starting with spring, I'm going to do this on 36 count Love Letter by Color and Cotton. And this spring was her first. And it's interesting because this one has a bunch of overdyes, which I had. I think I had all of them. Yeah. And some DMC. Now, the subsequent two that have been released are all DMC. But I'm going called for. I'm going called for on spring. I'm sure there's probably a DMC conversion. There's not. You could find one. I don't know. You could do them all in DMC, but I'm just going ahead and doing the overdyes because I had them. Okay. Oh. Everything's threatening. The piles are threatening to go to the floor. Okay. Outnumber the Shamrocks. Look how gorgeous this is. I think this was a national release last year by Stitchy Pros. Absolutely stunning. I had a clattering. I still do, all growing up. This was done in Cottage Garden threads. I bought the whole thread pack because they're pretty. There's only 5 of them, and I'm going to put this on this piece of Coral Canyon by Color and Cotton. See, look how pretty that's going to be. Oh. It's going to be really pretty. So that is yet another Irish Shamrocky start around my birthday. Now we are to the project that I plan to start my birthday week. And it's clearly a big one because it's in a huge bag. And that is Peacock Unicorn Badger. I know. I promise that there's not it's not a ton of huge ones, but there's some huge ones in here. And this is one of them. However, I think I am going to cut down my stitching on this because I purchased a half yard of 36 count arboreal from Cedar River Linen. So what is this? Project 3, 4 that's going on this linen. It's so gorgeous. You need to go get some. I've had this in stash. I ordered this linen probably a year and a half ago for this project. So my intent is to not stitch the green background. And what's so funny is when I told Jody that is why I was ordering this, she told me that is why she developed this color. She developed this color because she's doing the same thing, or is planning to do the same thing. So, so all that green, my plan is to not stitch. And see, so then it becomes just a reasonable size. And I'm doing the DMC. I'm using the DMC. I think it's charted in NPI, but there's a listed DMC conversion. So there we go. Peacock, unicorn, and badger. Who wants to start it with me? Lots of people, I'm sure. And then we can all go to group therapy. Isn't this cute? I've had this dimensions kit in my stash for quite a while. And I like dimensions kits. My girls all have dimensions gold collection stockings that I stitched for them. I think they're kind of fun. So it was the full kit. It's crunchy black Ada, but like, look, it's not that big. It's not that big. And I like a good kit. I don't do enough of them. But I'm going to do at least one next year. Okay. I think we must be into April now because I've come to another turkey pattern. And this one is Turkey and Pumpkin Pie by Primitive Needleworks. I've had this chart forever. Look how funny this is. She's chasing, look, the pumpkin has legs. And she's chasing the turkey and the pumpkin with an axe. That's just funny, friends. Okay, and this is going on 32 count after the harvest from Bestitch Me. Probably one of these like later sections. And this was just full stash. I don't even know if this is a conversion. I think I just looked at the chart and picked colors. I mean, clearly I'm still going to do her dress blue, but that's just a full stash conversion. And also, this is not a big chart. And can you believe it uses this many colors? What? Okay. It's fine. It's fine. That's another one that I hope I might be able to just like start and finish in the week. All right. Next up, in May, I do know that I did like a flower, or April. April and May, I think I did a like flower theme, like April showers bring me flowers. And I have lots of flowery things. So this is one of them, Fractor Flowers by La Di Da. I'm going to put this on Mystic Owl by Color and Cotton and DMC. Is this listed for DMC? Yes, I think it calls for one over dye that it looks like I converted also to DMC. So when I did my master set, there were definitely colors that I had, like you can see, what is this? There were definitely colors that I had a lot of that I could break into a couple. And then of course there's always colors that you don't have. You think you have every single color of DMC until you find the 20, 40, 100 you don't. Okay. Next up is another ink circles that I've also had in my stash forever. Oh, look, I put 2 projects in this bag. And I am doing them back to back. Okay, first is arranging the KitchenAids. I have arranging the vegetables. I have arranging the vegetables in my kitchen. I stitched it, it's hanging in my kitchen, and I have space on the wall for this to go right above. And I just think it's really cute. So I'm doing this on Albarium, 32 count by Cedar River. Also, why do I have this big of a... I don't cut my fabric until I'm done with the project. That's just how it goes. That's how it goes. I'm using cast iron skillet because duh, for all the black, and then I'm doing DMC for These, see, now you can tell we're getting to the point where I had already started 324 and I was like, oh, I'm going to have a master set. I got these little cards off of Amazon, and they're perfect. They're really great for this kind of thing, to just pull a little bit of DMC, because it's not going to take that much DMC to fill this in. And if I run out, I can just go grab another strand. Okay. After that, I'm doing Stitching with Friends by Little Stitch Girl. One of my friends stitched this and then gave me the pattern. So, and I think at Stitch North, oh, that's why they're in here together, because I'm putting them both on here. Haha. See, I'm already maximizing this piece of fabric. That's why they're in here together. I should probably write a note of that. So, yeah, so a friend of mine gave this to me at Stitch North, and so then we went over and picked out some Roxy floss together to stitch it with. So there we go. So those two projects back to back, going on that beautiful piece of Cedar River linen and sharing a project bag. That is Evertote, that I also got at Stitch North. Perfect. Okay. Next up is, oh, I've had this forever and I love it. I love it. Modern Folk Embroidery, The River. And I believe that I'm only stitching this part from here down. I don't need another alphabet. And what I really love is the vase and the saying, and this motif down here is also beautiful. Like I could cut this off and just do the vase and the words, but I really like this as well. And I'll start top left, so I can also make a decision at a certain point. But I'm definitely not stitching the top. I'm gonna start here, right there. And I'm putting this on a 36 count Lakeside Linen Vintage Cedar plank. And I think that this came in a box years and years ago with this thread from Forbidden Fiber Co. that's called River of Life. See, they definitely went together. And it's gonna be very pretty on this fabric. Oh, so good. So good. And you know, how big is this? I mean, I think that this is like not that big of a chart. I mean, it is, but it's not 131 by 223. But see, I'm cutting off like a third of it. So now it's just reasonable sized. Right? Right? Yeah. Totally reasonable. Okay. Uh-oh. Hopefully he got... Hold on. Maybe he's done. Okay. Next up in the flower theme is Bitter Flower Sampler. I've had this chart for ages. I love it. I love that big old flower and the saying. It's fantastic. Do I need that alphabet around the edge? Oh, I don't think I do. I'm now just looking at that thinking I'm going to cut off that alphabet, and I'm just going to stitch the bee and the flower and the saying. Look at that. Real-time decisions right here. This is going on a 36 count Linen in Willow by Bee Stitch Me. Very pretty, very pretty. And this is clearly I pulled from Stash. There's some Color and Cotton, some Roxy Floss Co. But it's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be real pretty. So there we go. And look at that. I just decided not stitching that alphabet around the edge. Ta-da! Oh no. Hold just a moment, please. Okay. Doggy settled down again. Someone dared like drive down our street. Okay. Next up, this must be getting close to Easter time. I've had this kitted for so long, I can't even tell you. It's a chart from Just Cross Stitch. What year? April 2021. And I think I kitted it that year. Look, I have other tabs on it, but this is the one I'm going to be doing. Vintage Easter Bunny. I love him. I'm not even I don't even really celebrate Easter, but he looks like some old card. I feel like my grandmother would have had like a statue that looked like that. I don't know. And I have some mystery fabric in here. Don't know what count it is. Looks cream or white. Beats me. And oh, I did leave myself a note. That's nice because it does call for 1,000 DMC colors that I converted to sulky at one point for some reason. Seriously, this has been sitting in my kitted up. And that was one of those things that I was like, I kind of do like it. I think I want, look how pretty those are. I think I do want to just stitch it up. It's not very big. I mean, it is kind of full coverage, but I think some of it is half stitches. A bunch of it's half stitching. I don't know. I just think it'd be fun. Yeah, it's not big. 69 by 42. That should be a start and finish. And then I can finally put all those sulky away. Funny. Okay. Next up, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this one. Because this was a chart that I did purchase this year and was just an immediate buy for me as soon as I saw it. And that's Geraldine's Flowers by the Artsy Housewife. We have bears that visit our backyard. The dog you heard barking earlier has treed one of them in my yard. So they're resident black bears. So he's brown. I'm gonna stitch him brown because he's clearly more of a grizzly. But I just have a fondness for bears, even though they eat all of the plums off of our trees and all of our blueberries. But I have a fondness for the bears, and this is amazing. This is amazing. Come on now. This is going on 36 count Renaissance by Color and Cotton. And this looks like mostly called for colors. I clearly have a DMC, a random bobbinated DMC thrown in there. So I made a couple subs, it looks like. Yeah, because I have a Roxy floss. So good. So good. If I had all the time in the world, I would start all the Artsy Housewife charts. Oh, look, there's another. I'm mostly pulled together. I'm like 99% pulled together, but every once in a while you see something a little fishy like that. Okay. Next up, this was also something I think I purchased kind of as a kit, not as a kit, but it comes with the buttons, and that's Present Blessings by Hands On Design. I do love Kathy's stuff. It's just real good. And this is just pretty. This is just spring and pretty. And I have a 32 count white linen with the called for DMC. It's just pretty. Pretty and springy. And also could probably stitch up real quick. Next up is not that. This. Oh, I know why that's out there. Here's a method to the madness. My next turkey trot by Bendy Stitchy. I love this so much. I think that this was based off of a card, like a vintage card, maybe. It doesn't say that on here, but I think I remember her saying that, like the turkey pulling a carriage with a chef with a fork. So funny to me. And then I am putting this on. God, this fabric is amazing. This is XG Design fabric. I think it's called Midnight Ride. Midnight Ride. It's everything looks like way brighter and more contrasty with my ring light, but you all know what Midnight Ride looks like, yes? And then DMC. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Trust me. This looks way more contrasty on camera than it is. But I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it to show up correctly. It's fantastic. You're going to have to take my word for it. Okay. And then we have Lena's Fancy by Vintage Needle Arts. I don't know. This is just really pretty. I mean, once again, flower theme. I mean, look at that huge flower next to that deer. And this looks like it's really big and it's not. It's 76 by 80. And how, like, the amount of detail and dimension in such a small chart, seriously impressive. I went with the listed DMC conversion. I think it's charted in all over dies, but I went with the DMC, and I'm putting it on this mystery Ada. I don't know. It's pretty. It's a pretty, like, creamy taupey Ada with the DMC. I don't know what this could be, a 14 count. No idea. Probably came in a grab bag from Color and Cotton. Whenever they do those grab bags, I love to get them. Okay, that is the end of the first tote. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to pick all these up. I'm going to go get the next tote, and then I will be right back. Okay, I'm back with the next big tote of projects. Did y'all take a moment to, like, pause, get yourself a little snack, maybe a drink, need some water? I should have said at the beginning. It's gonna be long, obviously, showing 100 projects. But are any of you stitching, doing parade progress? I would love to see it. Because honestly, you could start now and probably still get a lot of progress because I'm not even halfway through. Yeah, I don't know where we are. Somewhere in May, maybe June, probably May. It's hitting me. This is a lot of projects. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be so fun. All right, next up is A Thankful Life Chair Arm Pin Keep by Heartstring Samplery. I've had this in my stash forever, and I, like, actually just want this on the arm of my sofa at my stitching spot. I'm mostly a process stitcher. Obviously, I have many whips, but this is one that, like, I really just want the finished product. And I'm going to be stitching this on Fox and Rabbit Saltbush, 32 count. It must call for a 32 count. Sure does. Because that would make it, you know, I wanted to do it on the called for count, so it would make it the right dimensions. That's very pretty. This is a total stash conversion. Total stash conversion using, I don't know, what I thought would look good. I don't know if you can read that or if you care. You can do, you just pick whatever colors you want. I feel like this might be a little bit older chart. Does it say? I don't see what year is listed on here, but I don't see this one much, and I've had it for ages. I'm sure I bought it at Acorns and Threads down in Portland, but yeah, that's pretty. I've been wanting to stitch up forever. It's about time I started it. Okay, next up, can you believe I've never done a drawn thread? I love a lot of their charts. I really like the seasonal, like, garden ones, but that's be starting a whole nother seasonal series. So I thought this would be a great one to do. Sunnyside Sampler. I'm not going to do the alphabet at the bottom. I'm just going to do the houses and the words. And yeah, I love this. Love it, love it, love it. It is charted in all NPI and Dinky dies. I wasn't going to buy all those. My friend Nancy very sweetly said, oh, I can probably convert those all for you. And she did. She sent me a conversion. And then as I was kitting this up, I realized, because I know a lot of people have this issue, it does say, look down here. Drawn Thread does have conversion charts for NPI and Dinky dies on their website. So I went and looked. Nancy, you were dead on. You were dead on. I think there was one that was different, and I may have gone with what they had on their site because that's what I had in stash. So here's my conversion. It's pretty much comes from the website. And the Dinky dies get converted to Gentle Arts on their website, which I had. And then the NPI gets converted to DMC. So I'm using DMC and Dinky Dyes, and I am putting it on this 36 count ledger by Be Stitch Me, because look how pretty this is. It's like blue with splotches of yellow. It gets kind of gold up here at the top, but that's going to be in my margin anyway. So I'm going to put it on this section here that's like yellow and like blue sky with sun. Isn't that going to be so pretty? I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I sometimes like am not very out of the box with my linen choices. I know sometimes I'm kind of boring and I love a neutral. I love a gray. Give me all the grayish fabric, but that was in my stash from the Fabric Club, and I thought it was an inspired choice, if I do say so myself. Okay. Look how cute this is. This is a little kit that I had in my stash by Lizzie Kate. It's B49 Inspiration Boxer. It's just a little, I cannot count my day complete. Just sweet, but it comes with the little buttons. When I first got back into stitching, I was a big sucker for the Lizzie Kate, and I still think they're sweet. It came with the fabric. I can tell because it's like crunchy fabric. And then I just pulled the DMC. So I'm pretty sure this is one of those kits that came with like fabric and buttons. And this is another sweet little one that I've had in my stash, and I think would make a cute, maybe little like needle book or mug rug or something. I don't know. Gotta have those little ones in there with me. I'm so excited about this one. All right. Bury Me With My Needle by Lindy Stitches. Stephanie, such a genius. This is another one that I'm not doing the whole chart, and I am recharting the words. Quick aside story time, and then I'll show you what I'm stitching it on. I was with my oldest daughter for her 21st birthday in Vegas, and I don't know how we got on the subject of what was going to happen with all of my cross stitch stuff when I die. And I told her, I said, I don't expect you all to keep all of my stitch pieces. I don't care. I said, but don't just dump it all at Goodwill. You know, like get in my Instagram chats and any group thread that has a name, be like, Mom's gone, come get her stuff. Okay. They'll come get it. I told her, with the exception of my huge Heaven and Earth Designs Farewell to Anger. I said, if I finish that before I die, one of you has to take it and hang it up in your house. And she said, we'll bury you with it. We'll lay it on you and bury you with it. To which I said, but I want to be cremated. And she said, it'll burn. It's all natural fabrics. God, kids, they put you in your place. So when this chart came out, I knew I had to stitch it. But I'm going to stitch from here down, and it's going to say, bury me with my needle. Underneath, I'm going to put bury me with my needle or cremate me with my Hade. Or it might just say cremate me with my Hade. I'm going to start top left up here, up at the very top. So I can decide what it's going to say. I need to do the recharting, but it's going to say something with cremate me with my Hade. I love my children. They're funny. They're funny. This was a definite stash conversion. I'm doing this on 36 count cinnamon by Be Stitch Me with these colors. It's going to be fantastic. It'll burn. I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Okay. They do. To be fair, this is also the daughter that I do gift cross stitch to, and she loves it and cherishes it. But still, that's funny. Okay. What's next? Another biggin. And oh, I have all the flosses. You know what? We're just going to flip them out. Look at this one. Look at this bag. I'm not. Okay. Sorry about that. I needed to plug in. Running out of power. Okay. I was showing you this amazing bag, that this is one of my stitch pieces. Do you guys remember this one? I think it's called, I can't remember, but I finished it, I think last year, and I had it made into a project bag, and it's like big and cushy. And it's lovely that it's big. It has a little thing to clip on all your floss. Look at all that beautiful DMC. And that's going to be for Fox and Rabbit, Margaret Felicia Dyson, 1848. Because I like samplers. I'm not a huge sampler stitcher unless if there's something really interesting. And this is very interesting. I mean, look at this murder flower. Look at these vagina flowers. I mean, this is all beautiful weirdness. I am going to take out the name and potentially like all of these doodads. It depends on how much space I need, because I am going to put something else in there, and I'm going to put a quote from, now I'm blanking, Morticia Adams. Thank you. Oh, old age is getting to me. Normal is an illusion. What is normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. I love that quote. Normal is an illusion. Yeah, it sure is. And this, it felt really apt. Normal is an illusion. So that's what this is going to say. I love everything about this. It's like such a traditional border with this madness happening that I love very much. So this is going on 36 count color and cotton in heirloom lace. I think it's charted in NPI. Oh no, Soie d'Alger. Yeah. But they had a DMC conversion, and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm going to start top left, and I'll work on border. And if I come down here, I'll bump in here because I got to figure out the recharting. That kind of stuff takes me a long time, and but I'll get there. It's a big piece. I'm going to have time. Okay. Next up is, I love this too so much, Needle Heathen by Bendy Stitchy. I'm a complete needle heathen. If you know me or stitch with me, you know that it is true. She also has a very cool Biscornu that matches this that I actually got to stitch the model, so that was super fun. I already had this in my stash. I wanted to stitch it, and then she charted the Biscornu, and I model stitched it and still haven't stitched the needle book. What is happening? So I'm going to do that on 32 count Tombstone. I think this came in like a box years and years ago that Color and Cotton did, back when they did boxes. And I'm going to, so it's like a gray, and I'm going to do it in, instead of the maroon and white, I'm going to do it in this like blue and cream on this gray. And it's going to be fantastic. And then I'll have a little needle book for my needle heathen ways. So good. All right. It's the next turkey. You know what's sad? I mean, it is sad, but also amazing, is I pulled all my turkey patterns that I had in stash, and I had to pare it down to 12. I had to pick my favorite 12. This is Heartstring Stampley, the Gobbler. The Gobbler rides again. Amazing. She has it in 2 colorways. I'm doing the lighter, and I'm going to do it on this 32 count Vintage Stormy White. I love these fabrics, like the Vintage Stormy, the vintage, like all of these printed Zweigart fabrics. They're really just, they're great. They are great. And I am doing it. This might be, no, it looks like I did a little converting. Pulled what I had in stash, converted a couple colors I didn't, but there we go. The Gobbler. A turkey riding a horse. Yep. So good. I love Beth. All right. We must be in June. My next one is Summer Chalk Talk, which you already saw when I showed spring. So that's going to be the next one. And then in June, I'm going to start, look at this bag. I use this bag for the 324 sal. And I thought it would be the absolute perfect thing. In June, I'm going to start D's 20 Stitches 2024, this year's Pride, Stitch for Pride sampler. So I'll put a picture of it here because now it's all out. I slept on this. I somehow missed it last December, and I had FOMO bad through half the year. And then we got very lucky, and Dee opened up sales for it again in June for a very short window, and I pounced. So I'm very excited to start this next year. I've already bought 2025s, but I wanted to get this one started. And I'm going to put it on. I missed the first time around purchasing the pattern, but I did see Jessie's fabric, and I did buy a piece of Jessie's fabric. So this is actually the called for fabric. I bought it just because it's Jessie's fabric. It's gorgeous. This is Determination. Jessie also has fabric for next year's, which I need to get on buying. So this is actually the called for fabric. The beauty of being behind a year and a half by the time I start this is that I got to watch everybody else stitch it, and I loved Michelle Bendy Stitchy's colors. And so I kind of full on stole it. Kind of full on. I mean, just the spirit of the colors that she used. I loved the way, go watch. I think she just finished it. It's probably like a floss tube or 2 or 3 back. If you're watching this way in the future, end of December. I'm sure she's holding it up in the thumbnail. It's gorgeous. So go watch that. But then she would carry forward each motif. Like this is what she used, a bright blue. So I'm using a bright blue for January. And then in February, she used the green with a hint of blue. And then the red with a hint of green. It was genius. Fully copying that. Fully. Because when you encounter genius, then you do what they do. So I'm very excited for that. Next is, and see, and this is where I say I hold plans loosely because I might start the 2025 Stitch for Pride as well next year. We'll see, but I'm for sure starting that one. Next up is, I think this is called Four Seasons by Barbara Anna. I purchased this years ago as a kit from Nitka Moscow. So I'm using all the kit. That's where this little thing came from. Because otherwise it's just the pattern. Big pattern. So I'm using all the kit stuff, but I know that Barbara Anna has this as a PDF on her website now. So if you want to stitch this, it shows this way. The fabric comes with it to do it as a long strip, and that's how I'm going to do it, is as a long strip. And I think, yeah, they're all charted with light skin. I'm going to do some skin tone conversion on this. I haven't gotten that far to think through that much yet. So, because it'll just be a start this year. And I think Lord Libidan has some good, there's skin tone conversions out there that I can find one, a DMC skin tone conversion. Easy peasy. Okay. Oh, I'm very excited about this one too. I don't think that there's I will see if I can find a picture of this. This is, I'm going to be starting the Darwin sampler by Hannah Stitching Designs. And there's no picture of it. So I'm going to try to find a picture and put it here. My degree was cell molecular biology. I also have in here the Darwin 2 sampler because I want to stitch them both, absolutely. And I'm going to stitch them both, I think, on the same fabric. This is Portobello 32 count by Stitch Me. I love both of these quotes. And I'm going to use this Mrs. Sadis Black for this Darwin sampler. Amazing. Snarky scientists. Fantastic. because even though I have not worked in the field in a long time, I still consider myself a snarky scientist. Okay. What is next? Oh, this one that's been hanging out over here. Okay, this is yet another seasonal series that I already had one finished. So I had, is the chart still in here? Yes, this one, Garden Duet, I have done. And this is the spring version. These are just like little sets of 2 pin pillows that Hands-On Design did. I don't know when. I feel like a while ago. I've had all 4 in stash. They come. You can tell I have not fully finished these 2 yet because it comes with the little felt for the little penny border. So I have spring done, but I haven't started any of the others. So we're going to start with summer. This is the summer pattern. It's called Summer Harvest. And I'm going to do it on this, what is it? Big Sky by Mystic Fabrics, bright blue. And I did a stash conversion on this one. And so I'm doing the same on these. So there's summer. And I'll just show you autumn and winter while we're here, and then I can just put this bag away. This is the autumn ones that I clearly have some converting going on, called Twice Blessed. And like, this is how long I've had this kitted. I have this like crunchy witch-alt fabric that I got in some kind of like grab bag somewhere. With compliments, which no idea where this came from. Probably a bunch of fabric I got from stash unloading in like 2018. But I'm gonna stitch on it. They're not that big. And then there's the colors. Good. And then I am doing, this is Winter Solstice. This is the winter one. And I'm gonna be doing this on a piece of fabric that's in another project. It's called Scotsman. You'll see it. And it looks like I haven't even pulled threads for this. I maybe ran out of steam a little bit at the end of the year. We'll get there though. We'll get there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So that is yet another series that I have like partially done. That is, the rest of them are at least going to get started next year. And they're bigger than they look, but also like they take like a week to do. So maybe I finish them. We'll see. Okay. Next up is my first Nora Corbett that I'm going to start. Yay! Miss Forest Mushroom. She's so cute. She's so cute. And I am putting her on this piece of 32 count martini. So not as like green as this fabric, but I think she's going to look amazing on this. And I had it. And then there's all the DMC and she's got a few little beads. So I'm excited about this one. I like mushrooms. I live in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. What can I say? I like slugs and snails and fungus. You have to live here. I've lived here for, I don't know, 27 years, something like that. A long time. Okay. Next up, Summer Quaker. Like, this is full coverage, the centerpiece, just about. I'm so excited to start these. I'm so excited. I'm going to do this on Garden Path by Color and Cotton. And there's all the DMC. Well, she gonna be pretty and big. Who else is stitching these? Who else is stitching these? Tell me if you're stitching them, if you're stitching all of them, how far you are. This feels like a decade-long project to me. I'll be honest. Okay. Oh yeah, this one's pretty. I like this one. This one's fun. This is Antique Cats and Crowns by Shakespeare's Peddler. I finished Locks and Keys this year. These are just cute and sweet. And I'll probably give this one to my daughter, Sarah, who has a black cat that she loves. And I'm stitching it on something. 36 count Patriots Brew. It's a huge piece of fabric. with cast iron skillet. I like cast iron skillet for a black cat. I just do. So there we go. And these are pretty quick stitches too. I mean, if you just sit down and stitch them. Honestly, if you just sit down and stitch it, you can pretty much get anything stitched. Words of wisdom. I'm here for you. Okay. Another turkey. It's another turkey. It's Mr. and Mrs. Delicious by Lindy Stitches. I love this. And they actually, I think on the chart, they're on one piece. I'm stitching them together facing each other. Like I'm going to put them together on one piece of fabric. And this is Into the Veil, 32 count by Stitch Me. Perfect. Perfect autumn green. I don't know if these are called 4 colors or close enough. And we're going to stitch Mr. and Mrs. Delicious. Do you feel a theme that I find all the like turkey references to eating turkeys funny? The lady with the axe and the guy with the fork and Mr. and Mrs. Delicious. When my children were little, we really just the older two. I don't even know if the third one was born yet. She probably was. She was probably sitting in a stroller and couldn't talk yet. We were at the fair, at the state fair, and we were looking at, you know, all the like farm displays, and we came up across the prize-winning turkey. The prize-winning turkey was there with his ribbon, alive, you know, wandering around the pen. And we said, "Look, girls, it's a turkey." And my oldest two went, "Oh, yum." So I think that is why we tease them about that all the time. And I think that is why I gravitate towards these eating turkey charts. Also, they're just gorgeous. All right. Speaking of we were a moment ago, a series that I have started and not done all of them. Next up is Summer Refreshes by Summer House Stitchworks. I have Spring, I can't remember what it's called. I finished it this year. I finished Spring this year. I did my Spring in 3 greens and stitched it darkest to lightest. So dark, medium, light. And that's how I'm going to do the whole series. So this is Summer Refreshes. I'm going to stitch it on this. I am pretty sure this is Frozen Fractals by Hand Dyed by Stephanie. And oh yeah, it is. I kept the tag. I had to finish a Lindy Stitches birds sampler finish on this. And then these are, I'm going to use some corals. So this is my dark, medium, light in the corals. And I picked these out literally just by going to the thread wall at Acorns and Threads and picking out 3 that, you know, were kind of in the same tone and looked good together. So that's going to be my Summer Refreshes. And I don't have these all in one bag, so we'll find the other 2 later. Okay, this is actually a restart for me. I UFO'd this at the end of last year because I realized that I was not going to have enough floss and I had a tiny start anyway. So I'm restarting Half the Fun by Ink Circles. And I had purchased at maybe Market last year. Cottage Garden Threads had these really pretty stitcher palettes with one, what they call a hero floss, and then 3 matching ones. And so I'm going to use one of those. I'm trying to figure out how to hold it up. So this is the hero floss that you can see has all 3 colors, and then there's the solids. And so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure out how to use that variegated and then do, you know, I'll do some of these in variegated and some of them in the colors, and we'll figure it out. I'm going to put it on this 32 count vanilla latte. See, isn't that going to be pretty? That's going to be so pretty. The floss placement might give me a little bit of a headache, but I love this. I love this chart. They're a little bit, it's bigger than you think, I believe though. Yeah, it's 115 by 115. And I thought this one skein of floss that I had was going to cut it. And it was like a really old limited edition floss. Like I was never going to find more. So I cut my losses early. All right. This is another one that has 2 projects in it because they go together. And I got to start them both. I've had these in my stash for quite a while. It was a collaboration between Plum Street Samplers and Heartstring Samplery. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Which I think to me that reads Cars. My youngest watched Cars probably like once a week in our minivan when she was little, while my other 2 were at piano lessons. And so I love that. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm going to put it on this Nantucket. Look how pretty that is. And here's the flower. Look how pretty this is going to be. This is just going to be, that's going to be lovely. Lovely. So fun. And 2 of my favorite designers. I love their work. Okay. Scroll up on my spreadsheet. Okay. Also a strong contender for most charts by a designer, Bendy Stitchy, Rappaccini's Quaker. Dead. I love this so much. So much. And I had like all the called for floss. Except I think she mentioned somewhere that you could use 3865 instead of khaki mocha. And I didn't have khaki mocha, but I got plenty of 3865. So there's the called for colors, and I'm stitching it on this Drizzle by Color and Cotton. It's going to be great. I love this so much. Anybody have that in their stash? Want to start it with me? That goes for literally everything I'm showing. But that's a good chart. We should all stitch that together. Okay. Next up, is another Cottage Garden Samplings animal. This one is, so excited about him. I am going to stitch the bear. Oh my goodness. This is the summer one. Because I mentioned we have bears. And so I am actually redoing him into a black bear. Oof. So I'm going to stitch him on this Morning Fog by Be Stitch Me. And he's going to be a black bear. So I picked out several different blacks. So he's going to be a black bear because that's what we have. Wandering around our yard. Look at that happy little bear. So cute. All right. There's that one. And then next up is Artsy Housewife Golden Delicious. I love this chart. I really like this chart, and I was looking at the Roxy Floss conversion, I think, at Stitch North. And my friend Zan said, I said, but I don't need to buy anything. I said, I really love that chart and that conversion, but I don't need to buy anything. And she said, I have the chart. I'm not going to stitch it. I'll send it to you. Okay. So she sent it to me, and I did restrain myself because I was looking at the called for, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I've almost the entire called for at home. And I did. So, but Roxy Floss has a beautiful, pack if you want to go that direction. And I'm putting this on Parthenon by Color and Cotton. So I think I subbed a couple things that I didn't have, but I had almost all the called for. So Golden Delicious, and I think that this is a deceptively big chart. I think other people have stitched this and said it's deceptively big. 201 by 129. I think it's definitely one of those ones that's bigger than it looks. Okay. I when I get halfway through a tote, they all start collapsing the wrong direction. All right. Next up is another turkey. This is Photo Booth by Bent Creek. That's just funny. I like their little photo booths. I think I also have bacon and eggs. This is another one that comes with the fabric. And I don't know what this is. Crunchy Witchell fabric, I think. And it calls for DMC. So called for DMC fabric. But that little turkey messing around in the photo booth is so funny to me. This is another kit that I had in stash that I think I got from Acorns and Threads. I think it might have originally been exclusive to them at some point. Maybe it still is. Good company. But I definitely bought this as a kit because here's the called for fabric that's serged. And I think there's only a couple stitches in that DMC color. And then here's all the other called for threads that came with it. So, but this is one that I think is smaller than it looks. Because it's 87 by 72. Now, it's pretty solid stitching in that house, but I love that little fox. Love that little fox and the acorns on the tree. Since I consider Acorns and Threads to be my LNS, even though they're a couple hours away, several hours away in Portland, I also am very partial to acorn charts. Okay, this, I think we're in September because I think this is my sampler September start. And it's a big one. Brace yourselves. It's Ink Circles Clouds Over Veerland. Ooh. I think I bought this right when it first came out and kitted it up with the called for Belsois silk at Acorns and Threads when it came out. I mean, because look at it. It is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So yeah, so here's all of the called for threads, silks, because if you start a big fancy sampler in September, you should start on silk, with silk. Sure, that seems right. And I'm doing this on 36 count buttermilk by Color and Cotton. So it'll be perfect. The threads are clipped into my bag. So, but look, it'll be pretty. It's gonna be so pretty. I love it. And it's big. And it's gonna take me a long time. But I'm gonna get it started. Okay, speaking of, I am drawn to acorn charts. This is another one that I bought at Acorns and Threads because they have a model stitch there. And it's most gorgeous model stitch on 40 count, and that's Vintage Acorns by Jeanette Douglas. I mean, I think if you just look at the chart, you're like, okay, it's acorns. If you see this stitched, it is so gorgeous. So it looks like I did, what is this charted in? Don't even know. But I clearly did a full conversion. A full stash conversion. I'm going to stitch this on 36 count Maple Bar by Cedar River Linens. Look how gorgeous that linen is. Hello. And like, this is going to be a stunner. Okay. Oh, it's not on the back. I don't know what this is charted in, but I clearly did a full conversion. There you go. Grapevine, hazelnut. It could be charted in all weeks. That's entirely possible. Okay. And I don't think that I have my full conversions in my spreadsheet because I didn't take the time to do that. And they're just stash conversions that kind of match the vibe of what's charted anyway. But if for some reason you really want my stash conversion for something, just let me know. Okay. Ah, this is so fun. Funky Chickens by Satsuma Street. I love these. My kids for a long time would do the What's Up Chicken Butt, and that's one of these says that. This one shows what the clock, but one of them says What's Up Chicken Butt. So I just knew. I don't know if I'll stitch all three of these. I for sure am going to stitch What's Up Chicken Butt. I got white linen because that's what she calls for. And I did buy the Cosmo thread pack from Satsuma Street for this because those colors to die for. So good. So good. And I can see me stitching one of these for each of the kids potentially. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. We're fully into clearly fall now. Maybe end of September, early October, because we're getting into pumpkins. We're getting to all things pumpkin-y. And this is House on Pumpkin Hill, Pin Keep by Stacey Nash. I am doing this on 32 Count Scotsman by Be Stitch Me. This is what those hands-on design winter solstice is going on. I just have a note that this is where it is. I didn't want them sharing a bag because they're, but oh, okay. And here, I think this is a stash conversion, but you know, in the spirit, House on Pumpkin Hill. I love that big white pumpkin. Autumn is my favorite season. I love stitching autumn. I have so many autumn charts. It was hard for me to even like find summer stuff to stitch, but you know, I don't know why this is in this section of the year. This is fully a chart that I may pull up into May or June, because it's Lady Justice. And that's typically when like the Supreme Court finishes up their session is May or June. And it's about the time that I get real riled up. I'm probably going to stitch some of Elena Kagan's words onto this as well when it's done. But I've had this chart for quite a while. I've got the bead pack. I clearly cannot decide on fabric because I have two choices. You let me know what you think. This is Sand Dollar by Be Stitch Me. This is my fabric of the month from February 2021 Sand Dollar. I have recently gotten a piece of Sand Dollar in my fabric club from Be Stitch Me that looks nothing like this and is brown. So I love Brandy's fabrics, but I feel like sometimes I wouldn't necessarily go buy Sand Dollar thinking that you're going to get this color. All of her fabrics are beautiful, beautiful. But so this is 2021 Sand Dollar. This is Frost, which was September of this year, Fabric Club. So I clearly can't decide, and this might be a game time decision, but you guys can let me know what you think. Do we go blue? Here's the colors. See, so many colors. So I get very torn on if I should go with more of like a gray or this. See, now right now I'm leaning towards the blue, but I don't know. Give me opinions. Lady Justice, what do we think? See, so much for only one Mirabilia at a time. I'm starting 2 and a Nora Corbett next year. It's all good. It's all good. And this is in my amazing Ruth Bader Ginsburg bag from Lynx Stitches. Fantastic. Okay. This next project is kind of similar to the Hearts for Pam in that I have on my spreadsheet, start an autumn garden chart. So you all might be familiar with sometimes during, I think Nashville might be the fall one, a bunch of designers will get together and design a bunch of charts using one palette of flosses. And this is the autumn garden one, and it uses these cottage garden flosses. And I bought a bunch of the charts at the time that they came out. I bought the floss pack and a bunch of the charts. I've stitched half of one. So you can see I have Gourd Vibes Only, and that's half of this one from Stitchy Pros, which also has Shiitake Happens. So I might do Shiitake Happens, but I also have some others, and it's going to be a game time, what do I feel like decision. I have From Such Small Seeds by Ink Circles, love. I also have Autumn House on a Hill by Tiny Moderness, adorbs. I have my favorite 4-letter word is fall. And I love this one, Autumn Colors Don't Just Fall, They Fly by Bendy Stitchy. So those are all the Autumn Garden charts I have that use that same floss pack. Whatever I stitch is going to go on this fabric because I'm sure I can get several more. Like I feel like I can put the other Stitchy Pros one here. I could probably put both the Ink Circles there. So this is, do you love the needle minder? That's my mood. So I don't know. We'll see what I feel at the time. And these are all small, so I should be able to like start and finish one. Maybe I do a couple of them. We'll see. We'll see. But I've had those all together, and I will stitch another one of those next year. Okay. Time for another turkey. T is for Turkey by Heartstrings Samplery. I love this series. I have several of them. I haven't stitched any of them yet. I just bought at the Jingle Ball E is for Evergreen because I live in the Evergreen state. But we're going to start with T is for Turkey. And I have a stash-ish conversion. It looks like it's mostly called for. And I'm going to put it on this 32 count Macchiato by Be Stitch Me. Isn't that pretty? See, Be Stitch Me fabrics, gorgeous, gorgeous. I love having them in stash. I do like having a big stash of fabric because I bought a little bit of white this year, and that's it to get these all up. One of my daughter's friends just started cross stitching. I know, it's the dream. Not my daughter, but one of her best friends just started cross stitching, and I said, come to my house and go shopping in my house. Because I have plenty. This was a kit that I had bought all kitted up. It's Emily's Bliss by Summerhouse Stitchworks. I think it was like a kit in one of the Facebook groups, so it came with like all the finishing stuff. I'm a sucker. It came with all the Gloriana, hello, beautiful, and fabric, and apparently a needle. So see, look, that doesn't seem that big. This feels like completely reasonable. Yeah, that won't be too bad. And I love a drum. I love a drum. I will give all the finishing supplies to someone else to finish it as a drum, but I'm a sucker for a kit. I'm a sucker for a drum. All right, next up is another Summerhouse Stitchworks. This is Autumn Provides, the next in that series. And I'm going to do it on this Color and Cotton Bellini. And I think that I have not quite decided clearly on my 3 colors. So, because I have 4 here. So I'm either going to go red, orange, gold, or like orange, gold, brown. Feel free to chime in. We have a Japanese maple in our front yard that is this beautiful red. So I do love the idea of doing these 3, but like it does feel like autumn. Maybe it should be more brown. I don't know. Game time decision. Well, we shall see how I'm feeling when the time comes next autumn. So that is Autumn Provides, and I think my plan is to start that with my friend Stephanie. We started spring together, and I think we're starting autumn together. While we're on a Gene Ferris cruise to Alaska. That was my really big gift to myself, stitching gift to myself. Okay, what is next? Oh, love this. It's Toonies by D20 Stitches. We're very close to Canada here, and we go up frequently, and I love this. I love this. And this is what I stitched Whip It Good on. And this just felt perfect. You can't, oh no, you kind of can't tell. It's perfect. And I picked up Brennan needle. I think this is the called for, or close to the called for. They might have been missing one of them and said this was close. But I bought this all up. I bought these at Stitch North when I was up there. So, Toonies. That's too fun. And so, of course, it has to go in my Evertote Canada bag. Oh, Canada. Okay. What is this? Where am I? Oh, I'm getting lost in the sauce of my spreadsheet, y'all. Okay, this is the last of my Year in the Woods. I just got to find the right one. And what fabric I'm putting it on. It's got to be that. Are these maybe these look like it? Are these it? This has got to be it. They were all neatly in that bag until I started rifling through it. Okay, the last of my Year in the Woods is the woodpecker. If I can find the picture of our great, these woodpeckers are huge. I mean, maybe not all of them are, but the ones that we have that visit our yard are huge. If I can find a picture, I'll put it here. One of them on, I think it might have even been on the tree that, no, it was a different tree that Happy Tree the Baron. But we do get woodpeckers. They are gorgeous and huge. And I'm putting this on, oh, see, look, sand dollar. A different sand dollar, but also stunning. But I feel like this must be more recent. This just says Neutral Club, so I don't know when this came. And then there's the threads. So woodpecker. So that is all of my Year in the Woods. So I'm doing the fox, raccoon, bear, and woodpecker, and then maybe I'll frame them and hang them all together one day when they're done. Someday. Okay. What is next? This doesn't feel like this is what's next. Oh, because I'd already pulled out this one. Look at this cute bag. It's from Jasmine's Custom Bags. I love this little mini size because I stitch in hand almost exclusively. The only thing I ever use a Q-snap for or any type thing like that is full coverage. And so I don't need great big bags, really. This is Blackbird Designs Spell of the Moon. I just love this. I'm going to use Gray Magic by Be Stitch Me. And I think this might even be the called for threads that I had. Or close. Maybe they're just close. Because that looks maybe a little more orangey. Or it could just be the camera. I think it's just the camera. Spell of the Moon. All right. Now here we are. This is another bag that I had a finished cross stitch made into. Isn't this beautiful? There is some good in the world. This was a charity chart from Darling and Whimsy, and just watch her space because she occasionally re-releases it as a charity chart. But I love it, and I love this bag, and it is holding Autumn Quaker, Leela Studio, which is actually not called Autumn Quaker. It's Autumn is Joyful. I love that quote. This was the one that made me decide I was stitching the whole series because I really loved the first two when they came out, but I thought, oh, they're so big and I'm going to have to stitch the whole series. And then this one came out and I was dead. I mean, look at that turkey, the quote, the huge acorn, the squirrels, done. I have to stitch this one, which then means I have to stitch all the rest. I don't make the rules. This is a color and cotton haystack. Color and cotton haystack. All of the, these are also all of the DMC. These I did purposely give them these Peacock, Unicorn, and Badger. I purposely gave them their own set of DMC because they're going to be such long-term projects rather than pull from my master set. I just thought if it's going to take years, they get their own. Man, I'm realistic, right? Okay. So excited about this one. This is Fragments in Time from 2023. This is the Berlin Woolwork series. I have 2019 as a WIP. It was slated to get finished this year. I'm about halfway through it. It's going to be my first like 25/7 stitch next year. So it should be done by the time I get to this, because I promised myself I would only have one on the go at a time because I am going to do them all together with the free border that she provides. I'm putting this on 36 count Overcast by Cedar River linen. Absolutely stunning. There's all the called for flosses. I bought these. I loved this series. I bought these as they came out and bought all the threads for them at that time too. So I already had these in stash. I think I also have the 2022 set, which I also love, but I had all the threads for this one. So this one's getting started first. Also a lot of summer house stitch work getting started this year. Okay. And this is another bag that has a couple projects in it. The first of which is the next turkey sweater vest weather. I love these kits from Lindy Stitches, and I love her style, and so I'm always a sucker for these kits. So this has, I think it came with everything except the DMC. Like you probably can't see, but all the finishing stuff is in there. On my finishing table right now, it's almost done, is Strutting Tom. So it came with the fabric. I think you just had to pull the DMC. So that's Sweater Vest Weather. Also in here to start is another one of her needle books, Shiny Things. I'm telling you, I cannot be contained when it comes to these type of projects. I clearly put it in backwards. So this also has all the finishing stuff, came with the fabric. I just had to pull the DMC. So both of those are getting started. Sweater Vest Weather and Raven's Needle Book. Okay. We're very close. That is the end of that tote. So I'm going to pick all these up, go grab the last of it, which is not nearly as big. How are we doing? We doing okay? I knew this was going to be a movie. Get yourself a snack and I'll be right back. Whew. Okay, we are in the home stretch. Are we ready? Let's do it. Okay. Next project is Falling Leaves by Satsuma Street. I received this as a kit at Pinwis 2023. This was she was one of the designers. This was one of the projects. I did. I swapped out the fabric just for personal preference reasons, and I'm using this Gold Rush by Be Stitch Me. I mean, so really, how perfect. But we had been given all the Cosmo threads. I mean, whew, come on, this is gorgeous. And then I got to find someone to finish it just like a pillow like that for me. Amazing. I love her color. Her sense of color is just unparalleled. Okay. Next up is, oh, this is a chart I've just had forever. And why haven't I stitched it yet? Barbara Anna, Autumn Keeper. And I'm stitching this on, what is this fabric? Starlight Alchemy. Oh, Starlight Stitcher. I bet this came in, I should put one of those patterns in there. I bought their cottage core box that had a whole booklet of like cottagey patterns. I gotta find that. Maybe slip one in. Okay, this is Morel. It's a 32 count linen. Look how beautiful that is. And it's Barbara Anna, so you know, DMC. Perfect. It's gonna be perfect. Gosh, I wonder where that book is. It's gotta be around here somewhere. If I buy PDF patterns, I try to print out the cover page and keep it with my other patterns, because things like magazines and books, maybe after this year, all of my starts will be from books or magazines. That would be a fun way to do starts. Maybe in 2026, I do like a whip go, like magazine book whip go. Oh, look at, I haven't even gotten to 2025. I'm planning 100 starts. And I'm already thinking about 2026. It's a sickness. Okay. Next up, coffee and eggs. This one I tried. This is the one that Zan sent me. She didn't send me Golden Delicious. She sent me coffee and eggs. And I did buy the Roxy floss. Golden Delicious I just had. I was looking at the Roxy floss at Stitch North and said, I don't need to buy anything else. And she sent me coffee and eggs. I love this. And I'm stitching it on Color and Cotton. You know, this is an oldie because it has a wrap on it. Caraway. See, you keep these fabrics forever, but eventually you find the perfect project for them. Look how beautiful that is. It sounds like the landscape crew that maintains the neighborhood property across the street is here and leaf blowing, but I'm gonna power through. So I'm sorry if you can hear that and it's annoying to you, but this is the time I have, so it's happening. Also, not coffee and eggs, but amazing. Okay. All right, this is my favorite kind of stitching, autumn stitching. Quaker pumpkins. This, I'll tell you, I have gone back and forth about this chart because it is gorgeous and amazing and it's huge. And everybody who stitches it talks about what a monster it is. But when it came out, I bought it from Forbidden Fiber with their conversion. And like, it came with like a tag and everything with the colors. I'm gonna put it on this travertine by Color and Cotton. It's gonna be perfect. I know for sure I am not stitching the All Hallows Eve. I've seen people rechart this to other things, but I think I'm just, which honestly, it does not cut off that much stitching. This chart's enormous. What is this? 327 wide. But man, wouldn't it make a fabulous, huge drum? It would. There are so many times that I was like, I'm not going to stitch that. I'm just going to give it away with the flosses, but I do. I love Quaker charts. I love pumpkins. I love Forbidden Fiber floss. It's happening. It'll take me a while, but it's happening. Okay. To balance out the huge of that, is this little guy. This came in that Color and Cotton box years and years ago. Creeping it round. Look how cute that is. Heart and hand. And it came with like the called for fabric. See, this is an oldie but goodie. It came with the finishing stuff. It came with called for threads. It came with little buttons. I don't know, are there buttons on it? Yes, I'll probably put some buttons on, more buttons on it. I have all the little things. Why have I not stitched this yet? getting stitched next year. I don't even have a project bag for this. Look at this. Because I'm going to start it. I'm going to finish it. I'm not putting it down until I finish it. It's in a plastic Ziploc bag. This is also a small one. And that is Thankful Doodles. Also heart and hand. Having a heart and hand moment. I'm putting it on whatever this scrap of fabric is that was in my stash. Called for DMC. Hoping that this is also a start and finish. I feel like this is a little more stitching than it looks like it is. Oh, see, it came with the little buttons or little beads or whatever. I love that. 66 by 65. We'll stitch up real quick. I know you all have missed me saying that. It'll stitch up real quick. Okay. Now, for a not small, but also not huge, Hands Across the Sea. The Rose and the Giant Pear. And this is one that I have had this, and see, I just printed out the cover page so I wouldn't forget I had it. I've had this forever. But I love this pear. One of the most favorite things I have stitched ever was the pear motif on Oh Joyous Day. And so I've got to stitch another big pear. And this actually isn't as big as you think it would be. I'm putting it on this Ophelia by Color and Cotton. Yes, it's just another beautiful tan fabric, but they're all different. They're all different colors. Look how beautiful that's going to be. I'm doing the DMC. I'm sure it's charted in NPI or some such, and they have a DMC conversion. And so I'm using the DMC. It's going to be beautiful. Gonna be beautiful. Okay. What's next? More ink circles, because it is the way. It is the way to stitch a whole lot of ink circles. This is Black Velvet. I bought this chart specifically so I could use this gorgeous Gloriana thread that I think I bought from Ink Circles. This is Royal Plum Light by Gloriana. Look how beautiful that is. And I'm going to stitch it on this vintage smoky white that I clearly had used for something else. I don't know what, because I only have half of it, but it's going to be plenty. And I think it's going to look so nice. Pretty mandala in Gloriana thread. And I have more than enough. So who knows? If I finish it and I love it, that might be a stitch kit pass. Or maybe I just pass on the chart in the Gloriana. We'll see. I mean, it'll be a while because I'm starting 100 things. Okay. I love this chart. It's Boris by Plum Street Samplers. I did cat. What's the cat's name? Otis? I don't know. I did the cat version of this. And now I need to do the dog. Now I need to do Boris. And so I'm using the same fabric. And then I'm using the same, see, you can see. And so I'm using the same fabric, and it calls for a lot of the same threads. So I had them. I think I had to buy black coffee because you use a lot of black coffee. And what is the name of the cat chart? Y'all are yelling at me because you know it. I know it. I've stitched it. I've FFO'd it. It's hanging on my wall. Ridiculous that I can't remember. Okay. This chart might have been where I lost my mind. I bought this chart with no intention to stitch it. I bought it because it is gorgeous and I loved it and I needed to own the chart, but I knew in my heart that I would never stitch it until I decided when going through all my patterns that I do in fact need to stitch it. That is The Quaker Dwelling by Kathy Barrick. My friends are laughing at me. It is so big. It is 232 by 239. That's a huge house. So much bricks, but I like stitching houses. It's just so beautiful. I love the color. It's just, it's okay. It's okay. I crack myself up sometimes. Okay, I'm stitching this on creme brulee, and I'm sure this was charted in NPI. Yep. But she always lists a DMC conversion, so that's what I'm doing. I mean, come on. Look at it's these. I think this is all like roof. This is all the roof line and grout, but And look, she even says her model stitcher stitched it in 29 days. So it's fine. Quaker dwelling. Oh, who wants to start this with me? No, I seriously, when I bought that chart, I said I'm never going to stitch that, but I must own it. And then I decided I wanted to stitch it. I think we're fully in November or December. We're getting there. We're getting there. This feels like this feels like a reasonable thing to do until I start showing them all. It's fine. I love this chart. Y'all should start this with me. Darling and Whimsy, all roads lead home. I love this thing. I love the house. I now have like 3 adult children that are out in the world, and I want all their roads to lead home at Christmas. In a week, I'm going to have all 3 of them in my house under the same roof for like 2 days. I'm so excited. I'm stitching it on, I use this fabric for something. This is granite. 36 count granite by Be Stitch Me. I don't know what. I have something on this and it's really beautiful, and now I have plenty left over for this chart. This is what I love about buying a quarter yard or a fat quarter, is because it's usually enough for a big sampler, or you can put 2 smaller things on it. So there we go. I think the white's going to show up beautifully, and the light blue. All roads lead home by Darling and Whimsy. I didn't check. Hopefully that's, you can get that still as a PDF on her website, because it's fantastic. I know we all love the Quirky Quakers. I love me a Quirky Quaker. I've stitched a lot of them, but she has some other amazing charts, so go check them out. Okay. Yep. I'm still on track. It is the last of the Summer House Stitch Works, and it was actually the first one released. Winter Cometh. It was the first one released. I bought it because Game of Thrones, and then she made it a whole series, so I have to stitch the whole series. But I love this. Winter Cometh. I'm going to stitch this on My Little Dove. I think that's an ex-Jew fabric, but it's like a bluish gray, and I'm going to do this in navy blue to gray. So there you see dark, medium, light. Actually, it's the dark. Oh, Black Crow. So it's like it's a bluish black to blacksmith blue, one of my favorite colors, and then this black pepper. So that is Winter Cometh. What's next? The last turkey. I think this is my last turkey. See, 12 turkeys was almost not enough turkeys, but I'm very excited about this one. I don't know how I missed this chart when it first came out, but people have been stitching it this year, and so I had to go get it and add it to one of my turkeys starts, and that's Turkey Day by Cottage Garden Samplings. I mean, he's big and juicy and luscious. I'm gonna put it, this is another, like, look at me going out of the box. I'm putting this on Boneyard, 36 count Boneyard by Be Stitch Me. I think I'll probably put it like down here, or maybe I'll do it the other way. I don't know. I'm very excited about it. I think it's gonna look great. And there's, of course, you know, like a couple overdyes and then a bunch of DMC. So what do we think? I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be fantastic. Oh, maybe we do it this way. I think this is what I was thinking, is because there's leaves at the bottom. So this would be kind of like the ground and then big turkey. Yeah, yeah. See, every once in a while I stitch on something besides a neutral. Occasionally. Okay. What's next? Oh, this is another I've had in my stash just for ages and ages. Jenny Bean's Christmas Sampler. I love this. I love this little saying. This is another one that I'm not doing this at the bottom, which is like half the alphabet. So I think I'm just gonna put where these letters are, I'm gonna put my initials and maybe the year, or my initials and maybe like another tree. We're gonna figure it out, but that's how much I'm doing. And I'm putting this on cream puff. I mean, the whole saying's about a gingerbread, so I'm gonna put it on cream puff. And then I think this might even be like called for colors. I only had to do 2 subs. Otherwise I had all the called for colors. I was in a nest egg for years for Color and Cotton and Gentle Arts. So I have a full set of Color and Cotton and Gentle Arts threads. So yeah, the beauty of a large stash of collecting things over like a decade almost now. I'm ready for retirement. Isn't that what people say? I'm prepping for retirement. I'm gonna have all these things started to stitch on. All right. This I think also came in a box. A Christmas Pin Pillow by Kathy Barrick, but it's just sweet. I was looking for smaller. I don't stitch a ton of Christmas, but I like that this was like not like Christmassy. But it came with the stuff. Like this is not normally the stuff I would stitch with, but I had the stuff, so I figure I'll stitch the little pin pillow and then pass it on, because that looks like more than enough fabric. Probably stitch it twice easily. Okay. This is another like long-term project, not this one in particular, but this is Satsuma Street, Partridge in a Pear Tree. I think we're up to 5. I just bought at Jingle Ball 5 golden rings. So she releases 1 a year. I haven't started them yet, but I eventually want all 12 of these finished and hanging on a Christmas tree. We replaced our Christmas tree 3 years ago. We had the same Christmas tree for 18 years and finally replaced it, but I have the old one. It was not a pre-lit tree because that was before pre-lit trees, and my mom was the first one to like completely wrap each branch with lights. And then as sections would go out, I would redo it. At one point I took them all off and re-strung the whole tree. And so then when it finally started like dying again, I was like, I'm out. I'm not restringing this whole tree. It was a little shorter than what we had ever wanted in this house when we moved here. Let's see, we moved here 19 years ago. So we probably had that tree 18 years when we replaced it. Regardless, I have a spare tree. My dream is to have it covered in cross stitch ornaments. And then I'll just run lights around it rather than wire the whole tree. That was so much information you didn't want or need. I'm getting a little loopy. It's almost time. Let's wrap this up. Okay. Partridge in a Pear Tree. I love these kits. I love Jody's ornaments. They come with all the things. They come with I think you can buy these as PDFs, but why would you? I mean, you could. No judgment. But it comes with perforated paper. It comes with the floss and the beads and the sequins and needles, and I love it. They are fantastic to travel with. As I said, I have all 5 that she's released so far. I want to do them all. Let's get them going. Okay. Let's see. This is what is in here. a lot of stuff. What is going on in here? Okay, I'm just gonna pull this all out. Oh, I know what that is. That's a different one. I couldn't figure out what was happening. Okay. I tend to purchase things at the Jingle Ball and then not start them. This is one of those things, but we're going now. Hands-on design, a Christmas tree. I have done some of Kathy's ornaments and I have them finished as little pillows. I love these. One of the things that you could buy, or maybe it came as a kit, was the blanks to finish them on. And then you could get I think it was probably a whole kit. I think it was the thread pack and this, I think is how I bought it. And then I just went and got some chalkboard Ada. Oh, Christmas tree. See, and some year I'm going to have to do a like Christmas ornament whip go. You know, how we do. Okay. Now I know what this is. Another Jingle Ball purchase for this year. It's kits, man. They get me. And the blue flower. I love Janine's work. So I bought Festive Forest. I bought the whole kit. I went to the class to watch her finish it. I knew that this amount of pre-stitching was never happening this year, but I'm going to start it next year. So I have the fabric. She gave us all the threads, all like the template, all the doodads to finish it. And actually, after watching her, I think I can totally finish it. Like when I finish stitching it. But gorgeousness. So I bought it knowing that it would not be a start this year, but it would be a start next year. And I almost need a bigger bag to keep all of these things together. No, it's fitting. It's fitting just fine. Okay. And then this is the last kit I have, because Winter Quaker I have right before this. This is going to be my last start of the year. Let's keep our fingers crossed on Winter Quaker. Otherwise, I have plenty of other Christmas ornament things I can throw in. But Winter Quaker. This will be my last start of the year because it feels like a New Year's Eve type start, and that's Ink Circle's New Doors. It says old keys won't open new doors. I love that. I'm not going to do this border, which is beautiful. It's got keys. It's a big piece. I'm going to try to cut it down a little bit, but I love it. I'm going to start it on green tea, and I'm pretty sure this is all the called for colors. Yep. So that's it. Did you all, thank you for hanging in here with me. If you hung in for all of that, gold star. Gold star to you. I would love to see your parade progress. If you were stitching while watching all of that, and let me know. Let me know if you have any of these projects, you want to start them with me. I am so excited. I am so excited for next year and to start all these beautiful projects and beautiful things and stitch them along with all of my beautiful stitcher friends in this community. And we're gonna have a great 2025, at least stitching wise. We are going to have a great 2025 and help me celebrate my birthday all year. I will be back after the first of the year. My plan is I'm not doing a whip parade this year because honestly, like 2.5 hours of this is plenty. You don't need to see all my whips. But mainly because I did a whip parade last year, and I think with the exception of like 2 things, anything I picked up and touched, I finished this year. And if it wasn't on a plan to finish, I didn't touch it. So my plan is to come back after the first of the year and do a finish parade and then show you at the end like the 3 things I started this year that are now in the whip pile. But otherwise, you could like watch the 2023 whip parade and then watch the finish and you'll see a bunch of them get finished and then that'll be it. So no whip parade. But I think that this like planned start parade was a great place to end the year, going into the new year. And thank you for being here with me. And I really, really do plan to be back on a very regular basis next year, and it might be more vlog style where I'm just like every few days when I'm starting things, I'll show you my starts, and but I'm excited. I'm excited for the year ahead, and I'll see you in the new year. Cheers.